A pleasant day to our research instructor, research advisor, and to our panel members. I am Venessa Mendoza.
My name is Paul Geoffrey Cortuna.
I am Edin Diuntalan.
And we will present our research study entitled Assessment of CP Reyes Healthcare Workers Satisfaction Level on Hazard Compensation Received During Pandemic. And for the first part of our study, here is Ms. Untalan for the discussion.
So hazard pay is defined as the additional payment for rendering a hazardous work, while pay satisfaction is defined as the amount of all positive effects individual towards pay. So uncertainty has been a source of concern for the past 2 years. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced everyone to embrace the unusual life setup, such as in work, economy, education, and transportation, to help stop the transmission of the novel coronavirus. And due to the situation, most healthcare workers were compromised. The fact that the healthcare workers are the crucial element of the global healthcare system in the world's pandemic response make it evident that their loss is an irreplaceable gap. In exchange for these sacrifices, frontline workers are expected to have benefits and pay above their normal pay. So this study was conceptualized in response to healthcare worker situation, which is regarded as a significant challenge to the public and to human resource management. In line with this, the researchers decided to conduct this study in order to measure healthcare professional satisfaction with hazard compensation during pandemic and to investigate factors that influence healthcare worker satisfaction. This will benefit human resource management in determining which areas of remuneration they should concentrate in order to recruit, motivate, engage, and retain employees in the Philippines, particularly healthcare professionals. So furthermore, particularly hazard pay does not receive the same level of attention as a job satisfaction in the Philippines. As a result, the researchers analyzed the gaps that needed to be filled in order to contribute more healthcare institutions. So for the statement of the problem, we the researchers seeks the answer for the following question. So for the SOP number 1, what is the profile of the respondent in terms of age, gender, civil status, years of service, professional work, basic salary per month, and hazard pay per day? For the SOP number 2, how do the respondent assess their level of satisfaction in hazard compensation in terms of pay level, pay structure, pay raises, variable pay procedure satisfaction, benefit level, pay determination, and pay administration satisfaction? For the SOP number 3, is there a significant difference on CP Reyes workers' assessment of hazard pay compensation satisfaction when grouped in profile? For the SOP number 4, based on the findings of the study, what are the recommended courses of action to improve the compensation satisfaction level of the CP Reyes workers? So for the theoretical framework, this research recognized the comprehensive model and measure of compensation satisfaction by William M., Brower, Ford, William L., and Coraje in 2008. So the framework came from the convergence of two theoretical models of compensation satisfaction by Henneman and Schwabs in 1985, Meselli and Lane in 1991. So the first of the conceptual framework is the Henneman and Schwabs in 1985. So it is an analysis of the multidimensional nature of pay satisfaction, which examine 5 theoretical dimensions of satisfaction, such as pay level, pay structure, pay raises, pay administration, and the benefits. So the second is a framework of compensation satisfaction advanced by Meselli and Lane in 1991. So which includes the following dimension of satisfaction. Number 1 is the pay level, pay system between jobs, pay system within jobs, benefit level, and benefit system.
For our research hypothesis, the null hypothesis will govern our research that there is no significant difference on CP Reyes healthcare workers' assessment of hazard pay satisfaction when grouped according to profile. For the scope and limitation of our research, it focuses on the difference on the received hazard pay during pandemic and the satisfaction level of respondents, which is the healthcare workers from CP Reyes Hospital. And our research, the limit, our respondents to healthcare workers. The response of the participants will allow the researchers to determine the difference of hazard compensation received to the satisfaction level of the respondent. For the significance of the study, results of the study will be beneficial for the following. So first is the main focus of the study, which is the healthcare workers. The study will benefit them as the study aims to evaluate and recognize their situation that is directly affected by hazard compensation. The results of the study seek to help and improve their condition. For healthcare institutions, it will be beneficial for the healthcare institutions as this research seeks to study the satisfaction of their employees on the hazard compensation to help them understand the view of their employees. For human resource management, So the study will be beneficial for human resource management to evaluate and enhance pay satisfaction, employee external motivation, and pay level structure. Researchers of this study, this will be beneficial for the researchers to gain knowledge, as the study will provide information about the view of healthcare workers on compensation in their sector. It also helps the researchers to be interested more on the field of their study. And lastly, for the future researchers, this study will be beneficial for the future researchers, as the study may also serve as their foundation and will provide information and data for their study. In the conceptual framework, the study's relevant variables are mapped out in the conceptual framework, which shows how they might interact. In our research, there are three phases, which are the input, the process, and the output. So, input includes the profile of the respondents and level compensation satisfaction in terms of pay level, pay structure, pay raises, variable pay procedure satisfaction, benefits level, pay determination, and pay administration satisfaction. In process, it includes data gathering, adapting and validating of survey questionnaire, administration of survey questionnaire, data collection, and analysis and interpretation. In output, it includes the recommended courses of actions to improve the level of satisfaction of hazard compensation of healthcare workers.
In the research method of this study, we will use quantitative collection of data. It is non-experimental research that observes phenomena and different variables that used by the researcher in finding out the difference of level of satisfaction applied by the respondents on their hazard compensation received during pandemic. The respondents of the study were healthcare workers from CP Reyes Hospital in Tanawan City, Batangas. The fact that healthcare workers are a crucial element of the global healthcare system in the world's pandemic response makes it evident that their loss is an irreplaceable gap that will exacerbate existing skills shortages around the world. This has prompted calls for us to prioritize and provide healthcare workers an assessment to the special benefits for their commitment and professionalism throughout the pandemic. They are also chosen because they are one of the sectors who receive hazard compensation. This study also helps both healthcare workers and their organization to evaluate their satisfaction level on the hazard compensation. For the sampling technique, we targeted the sample size of 100 healthcare workers as the respondents of the study. Due to large number of respondents, we rely on the different sampling techniques to easily and conveniently accommodate data from the respondents of the study, and we will be using stratified random sampling. This helps us to formulate a representative of a population that allow us to conduct a study from the chosen subset of a group and derive conclusions of the entire population. Lastly, stratified random sampling as probability sampling will create more accurate result and reducing sampling bias. For the data gathering instrument, we will adopt questionnaire constructed by Reyes et al. 2021 in the study entitled An Analysis of the Satisfaction of Healthcare Workers on the Hazard Compensation in Both Private and Public Healthcare Institutions During the COVID-19 Pandemic in Metro Manila, Philippines. The said instrument is divided into three parts. The first part of the questionnaire identified the profile of the healthcare workers, namely age, gender, civil status, years of service, and professional work. Meanwhile, the second part of the questionnaire dealt with the respondents' pay level. They were asked to tick boxes corresponding to their basic salary, hazard pay, and special risk allowance. Third is the satisfaction analysis, under which there were various subtopics including hazard pay and allowance, work environment, awareness of the laws regarding hazard compensation, and COVID-19 related questions. These questionnaires were undergone in proper examining and reliability of the questionnaire. The adapted instrument will be administered to the respondents of the study through online or Google Forms. In order for us to collect the needed information, the respondents will rate open-ended statements in the survey questionnaire using a 4-point Likert scale. In the statistical treatment of data, the following are the statistical treatment we applied in the study in order to analyze and interpret the gathered data. First is the frequency and percentage. We will use this to administer the profiles of the respondents in terms of age, gender, civil status, years of service, professional work, basic salary per month, and the hazard pay per day. Second is mean. This will be utilized in assessing the level of satisfaction on hazard compensation in terms of pay level, pay structure, pay rises, variable pay procedure satisfaction, benefits level, pay determination, and pay administration satisfaction. Third, ANOVA. It is statistical method of testing and evaluating equality between three or more population, means to derive conclusions. In this study, we will use the analysis of variance to extract the dissimilarities of level satisfaction through measurement on assessed hazard compensation received when they were classified into profile. And lastly, t-test. We will use t-test to determine the difference in assessed respondent satisfaction with the hazard pay when grouped according to profile. This ends our presentation of our research proposal entitled Assessment of CP Reyes Healthcare Workers Satisfaction Level on the Hazard Compensation Received During Pandemic.